The notification arrived just after midnight, slicing through the silence of Sarah's bedroom like a warning bell in the dark. For Sarah, a senior executive at a London-based financial firm, it was an unwelcome interruption, one that instantly set her on edge. She was used to late-night emails, but this felt different, more urgent, and somehow more personal. The text message was from her bank, a two-factor authentication code she hadn't requested. Her heart raced as she stared at the screen, confusion quickly turning to dread. More codes followed, flooding her phone in rapid succession. Each new alert felt like a countdown, a signal that something was spiraling out of her control. She tried to log into her banking app, but her password no longer worked. Panic set in as she realized she was locked out of her own account. A call to the bank's helpline brought devastating news. Her life savings had vanished in a series of offshore transfers. The operator's voice was calm, but the words shattered her world. Investigators found no malware, no phishing, and no weak passwords. Her digital hygiene was impeccable, her devices clean. Sarah had done everything right, yet the criminals had bypassed the SMS verification code. It was as if the rules of digital security no longer applied. They intercepted her codes and messages without touching her phone, as if they were reading her private mail before it even reached her. The thieves weren't in her device. They were in the network itself, lurking in the invisible pathways that connect us all. They exploited a hidden weakness in the global telecommunications system, a flaw buried deep within the infrastructure that powers our daily lives. This wasn't spyware or brute force hacking. There were no warning signs, no suspicious apps, no red flags for her to notice. The attackers used a flaw in the very protocol that connects calls and texts worldwide, a vulnerability known to only a few, but devastating in the wrong hands. They became invisible, redirecting her private communications by tricking the network itself, making her messages and calls vanish or reroute without a trace. Sarah's story is real, a chilling example of what happens when criminals access the backbone of our digital world. It could happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. The attack left no trace on her device. Everything appeared normal, as if nothing had ever happened. Calls and texts simply never arrived. Friends and colleagues wondered why she never responded, but she never saw their messages. The criminals became digital ghosts, intercepting her data before it reached her, erasing their footprints as they went. This is the reality of SS7 hacking, an invisible threat that weaponizes the infrastructure meant to connect us, turning trust into vulnerability. Even the most cautious can fall victim, not through personal error, but because of a systemic flaw left unaddressed for years. In a world where our lives are increasingly digital, the greatest threats may be the ones we cannot see. To understand this threat, we need to look at the system itself, one that quietly powers nearly every phone call and text message around the world. SS7, or Signaling System Number 7, is the hidden traffic controller of the global phone network. It's the invisible backbone that lets your phone connect to others, no matter where you are. It manages call setup, routing, and SMS delivery, connecting hundreds of operators worldwide and making sure your messages and calls reach their destination in seconds. Designed in the 1970s, SS7 was built on trust, not security. Back then, the idea of cyber attacks was almost science fiction. Only a handful of telecom giants had access, and everyone was expected to play by the rules. The network was a closed club, and trust was the foundation. There was no robust authentication. Commands sent over SS7 were blindly trusted, with no way to verify who was really sending them. As the industry grew, access spread to smaller companies and even foreign agencies, opening the doors to many more players. The security model never caught up. SS7's original design left it vulnerable as the world changed. Now, criminals can buy or lease access to this trusted network, often through shell companies or compromised carriers, exploiting the system's weaknesses for profit or espionage. Once inside, they can send commands the network obeys without question, giving them unprecedented power over global communications. With SS7 access, attackers hold a skeleton key to the mobile world. They don't need to hack your phone, they manipulate the network itself. The most dangerous power intercepting calls and texts. By sending SS7 commands, attackers redirect your communications to their own devices, invisibly. Your phone shows nothing unusual. They can listen to calls, intercept SMS codes, and bypass two-factor authentication. SS7 also allows real-time location tracking, pinpointing any phone, anywhere. Attackers can even cut off your phone from the network or manipulate billing. In the wrong hands, SS7 is a tool for surveillance, theft, and disruption on a global scale. All of this happens without the victim's knowledge. An SS7 attack starts with criminals gaining network access, often through a poorly secured operator. Once inside, all they need is your phone number. They query the network for your SIM's unique ID and current location. The network, trusting the request, provides this information. The attacker then sends a forged command, telling your network to forward calls and texts to their system. Your messages and calls are intercepted, copied, and then passed on to you, often with only a slight delay. You become a ghost on your own network, unaware your communications are being watched. In 2017, the threat of SS7 attacks became a harsh reality in Germany, moving from theory to devastating practice almost overnight. Criminals exploited the SS7 protocol to drain unsuspecting victims' bank accounts, combining classic phishing for login credentials with sophisticated network-level interception. After stealing usernames and passwords through phishing emails and fake websites, they hit a roadblock: SMS-based authentication codes, meant to be a final line of defense. That's when the attackers turned to SS7, using it to silently redirect victims' text messages, including those crucial security codes, straight to their own devices. Banks continued to send one-time passwords via SMS, but the real customers never received them, left in the dark as their accounts were accessed. The criminals authorized transfers and emptied accounts in minutes, leaving victims helpless and confused as their savings vanished. Even security alerts and warnings from banks were intercepted, making it nearly impossible for customers to react in time. The German operator O2 Telefonica confirmed that the attacks had exploited the long-known SS7 flaw, raising urgent questions about telecom security. This incident shattered public trust in SMS-based security, exposing just how vulnerable these systems can be. It proved that if the underlying network is compromised, SMS authentication is fundamentally broken, no matter how strong your password is. The attack served as a wake-up call for banks and mobile operators worldwide, forcing them to rethink how they protect customers in a connected world. The German heists revealed chilling sophistication. Criminals spent months gathering credentials through phishing, building a list of targets with phone numbers. They bought SS7 access from a complicit foreign operator, gaining insider status. Attacks were timed at night, maximizing the window for fraudulent transfers. One team logged into bank accounts, another intercepted SMS codes in real time. They moved money rapidly, bypassing security trusted by millions. The operation spanned multiple countries, making investigation difficult. SS7 commands were routed through international carriers, obscuring their origin. This case shows how a legacy protocol can be weaponized for devastating, anonymous financial crime. SS7 vulnerabilities are a global problem, not limited to one country or operator. Any phone on any network is potentially at risk. Your security depends not just on your provider, but on every operator worldwide with roaming agreements. A single weak link exposes everyone. Researchers have demonstrated live SS7 attacks for years, but industry response has been slow. Access to SS7 is easier than ever, with many small operators and third parties connected. Attackers can exploit the weakest carrier, regardless of where you live. As long as one insecure network exists, the entire system remains vulnerable. While network operators must fix SS7, individuals can reduce their risk. The most important step: stop using SMS for two-factor authentication. Use app-based authenticators like Google Authenticator or Authy. These generate codes on your device, not over the network. If SMS is the only option, consider using a VoIP number for recovery, which bypasses SS7. Regularly review your account security settings. Be alert to unexpected loss of signal or security alerts. You can't patch SS7, but you can build your own digital defenses. Strong passwords and app-based authentication make you a harder target. The fight against SS7 exploitation is an invisible war on aging infrastructure. Even as new protocols like Diameter improve security, SS7's flaws persist due to backward compatibility. Mobile operators must invest in firewalls, monitoring, and cooperation to block malicious traffic. Progress has been slow, leaving billions exposed. Governments must enforce security standards and audits. For individuals, remember, your phone is not an impenetrable fortress. Assume your calls and texts are not private. The convenience of mobile communication comes at a cost. Stay alert, demand better security, and use strong authentication. The ghost in the machine isn't going away. Awareness is your best defense.